Hello, 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 family. Peace and blessings. And we are back for another episode of Heal with Angelica Waters podcast, where we discuss all things healing. And on today's episode, I have a special co host guest here with me, Sister Nyah, as we touch on a subject today called Women's Healing Circle. Sister Nyah, how are you doing today?
I am very well by Allah's grace and mercy. How are you, Sister Angelica?
I am doing great by Allah's grace, Miss Naya. Thank you so much. Praise be to Allah. Naya, before we get into today's topic, do you mind letting our audience know just a little bit more about you before we get started?
Of course. First, thank you so very much for having me today. I am honored to be a part of this healing podcast because the topic of healing is so very important. I am Naya Muhammad Tai, and I am 19 years old. I am a full-time student in the College of Architecture. I am a part of the MGT and GCC Presents ID9, which is focused on healing our women out here. I'm involved in so many things. It's so hard to keep track. I am the president of AIAS, which is the American Institute of Architecture Students. I'm the president of the chapter
Wow.
at my school. And I have my own business, which is called Eternally Embracing Earth. It's shortened down to Eat Produce. And we provide fresh produce to the community, locally, organically grown, of course, and seedlings.
Praise be to Allah, sis. That is amazing. Thank you so much for letting our audience know more about you and things that you have going on. I love it. So today's episode is very important to me because before we are able to heal our people, we must first heal the woman who is the second self of God. Because through the woman's womb comes a nation of gods. So that brings me to our first discussion, healing our mental and spiritual. Um, Sister Naya, I'm going to let you kind of start that off as far as discussing the mental and spiritual aspects of healing for the woman.
Yes, ma'am. So, as individuals, period, we have been through so many different things that may have caused us trauma. They affect our daily lives, whether we know it or not. And at the end of the day, it's up to us to be the bigger person to ourselves and say, hey, I want to heal. I realize the way I'm living is probably not the best way. Like, I'm fine where I'm at, but I could do better. And so, to do better, you have to heal yourself. And healing hurts. No healing process is easy. And to be able to heal, you have to assess the situation, which means that you might have to replay it over and over in your head. But that's so you can learn something from, and you can take that away and apply that to your life and be able to forgive. Don't forget,
Mhm.
but forgive so that you can move on. Find the lesson in it. What can you do better next time? And how can you apply something from this situation to your future? And as women, we're taught in the Nation of Islam that a nation can rise no higher than its women. And whatever is within us, we're going to pass that down to our children. We're going to pass that down to our babies. So it's up to us as women to make the decision and make the choice to say, I'm going to heal from all of the different things that I've been through in my life. I'm going to heal so that my baby, she doesn't have to live with this pain. He doesn't have to live with this pain. And he'll be able to move on farther than my generation has moved on, because it's up to us to heal our generational trauma, that's been passed down from our parents and parents. I don't know if that answers the question all the way, but yeah, we have to make sure that we make peace with ourselves, and make peace with God.
Exactly, exactly. So yes, definitely. I definitely think that once we are able to come into a sense of knowing who we truly are um, as ourselves, we are able to unlock this potential that's already inside of us in order for us to be the best woman, the best person, best woman that we can be, you know. And I like that you addressed it, the fact of how the woman, how we need to heal so we won't pass on those traumas to our children. Understanding that we are also a reflection of our parents' trauma in a way, because of the things that they may have experienced that they didn't heal from and ended up passing it on to us. So it has to come a time where, like you stated, it's time for you to do better, you know? So yes, Sister Nyah, I love that. So I wanted just to speak on my aspects of just the woman healing mentally and spiritually. So as a woman, as women, I'm sorry, we are known as being this superwoman, and that's as honorable as that is, you know, being called superwomen. Honestly, it can, you know, on our mental and spiritual, being a superwoman all the time, you know. So within healing your mental and spiritual, my opinion is you must first learn how to maintain a balance, you know, to always be able to protect your energy, protect your peace, you know. So women, myself, deal with anxiety. Women are at the top of the charts for anxiety, depression, and suicide. But little do one know is that that's just an imbalance of the mind, you know?
Right.
So they say that the imbalance of the mind, from what I looked into it, is formally known as the lymphatic system. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry about that, you guys. So the imbalance of the mind, they call that the lymphatic system, which is associated with your emotions. So I wanted to get a little science with you guys just to kind of explain the reason why it's so important to maintain a balance. So it states here, and I actually have study guide 18 from the most honorable Elijah, from the most honorable minister Louis Farrakhan, from the self improvement guide, study guide 18. It states here that the the limbic system works with both the cerebrum above and the brain stem below. Its connection with the brainstem helps maintain a state of emotional balance and alertness. Its connection with the cerebrum allows a person to temper emotions with reason. The goal is for the two process to work in harmony, but the balance can be easily upset. The limbic system can become so highly activated that it overwhelms rational thoughts, making a person speechless with anger or joy. On the other hand, through conscious efforts, a person can resist the natural urge to eat or drink and can fight back tears and suppress sexual desires. So, to just elaborate on that, do you see how powerful our mind is and how maintaining a mental and spiritual balance aids in one healing? You seeing how the cerebrum has to have a balance with the limbic system in order to maintain an emotional balance. And that's just really what it is. Like, if we can, and you know, I think everyone can say that women are emotional. We are these emotional creatures. We're always in our feelings and da 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 da. But I mean, it's nature. You know, that's just who we are. You know, but when we are able to maintain a balance, that's when you are at your most powerfulest, because
Mm-hmm.
you are able to handle certain situations better. And I say this for our women because me, I'm a mother. I'm a single mother, and I'm also doing other things as well, as far as following my dreams and doing things that I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's a pull, you know, having to make sure I'm spending enough time with my child to be sure that he knows that I love him and I
Right.
care for him. But
Mm-hmm.
then on top of that, trying to maintain a balance as well with my dreams. So I can, and me and my son can live the life that I want to live for, I want us to have.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
my main thing about maintaining a mental and spiritual health and being able to heal your mental and spiritual is that you need to maintain a balance. And one may say, like, well, how would I do that? Now, there's different tools that you can incorporate to maintain your mental and spiritual balance. The first one I want to say is prayer. Prayer, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need right there. That's for me. I don't know about anybody else, but
Mm-hmm.
that's me. um, Prayer. Also meditation. When you're able to sit with yourself and calm your mind and calm the noise around you and
Mm-hmm.
listen to yourself, you're able to if you're feeling unbalanced, start able to balance yourself back out just being still, you know. And then we have exercise, and then we have rest. So
Mm-hmm.
um when we are able to control our emotions and thoughts and rise above our emotions, I'm sorry, into the thinking of God, you
Mm-hmm.
are able to create a powerhouse in mental, spiritual healing. It all begins in your mind. So that is what I believe as women, as the powerhouse of creation of God. That's what I feel as if is important for us to do to start maintaining a mental and spiritual healing.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Balance is so necessary. It's so essential to our lives to heal and to be the best versions of ourselves possible. And I can throw in this as an example. Um, I myself, you know, last year I was like, I love myself. Of course, I love myself, but there's
Mhm.
levels to loving yourself. Um, and I realized that if I loved myself the way that I thought I loved myself, I would be implementing discipline into my life
Mhm.
more. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he said, where there is no discipline, there is no love. And I didn't quite understand
Mhm.
that, but discipline could be something like making sure I go to bed by 10 p.m., wake up at
Mhm.
6 p.m. every day. That's discipline. That's a schedule. That's a routine. And that is a part of balance. Like you were saying, or discipline myself to make sure that I exercise a couple times a week. That's
Mhm.
disciplining, and it's so important. And I hadn't realized that if I wasn't disciplining myself, making sure I just wasn't overeating all day long or
Mhm.
having like 4 different meals, that I wasn't loving myself and take care of myself properly. And we have to make sure that we love ourselves. In the minister's swan song, he said, God loves you, but you gotta love yourself. And it's just so true.
Yes.
Because we're taught that God helps those who help themselves. But if we don't practice self love by setting boundaries for ourselves and the other things, taking care of ourselves, God isn't going to stop people from walking all over us if we just allow them to walk all over us. So,
Mhm.
balance is extremely important, whether that be physical, mental, spiritual, making sure you get your work done for your job, but then you take a
Mhm.
mental rest so that you're not too overwhelmed in certain things. It's just so important. And as women, As women, it's important for us to understand balance, because when we don't balance ourselves, it throws everything off.
Yes, it does.
I'm an architecture major, right? So I work so much on projects. We work at least 20 hours a week on our projects outside of school. And I'm already a full-time student and working and other things. And the amount of stress and then my relationships with people and being expected to do all of these certain things, there wasn't a balance for me. And it threw off everything. It threw off my bodily system, because when you're stressed, that puts pressure on your body. And you can start to see that through your skin. Your face will start breaking out. You're tired. You keep falling asleep doing everything you're doing. My menstrual cycle was getting messed up because of the amount of stress. And so balance is essential in everything that we do. But that was just an example of balance. And I like how you also mentioned earlier, you said that we have the ability to, this is not a quote, but you said we have the ability to do better because God is within us, something along those lines. And it's true.
Yes.
As women, we are the second self of God, right? We were God's first creation after he created himself. And everything and everybody that God has created, his essence is in you. And so we have the essence of God in us. And we can manifest that essence. We can choose to manifest that essence, or we can choose not to. So we can make that decision to be better and to try to live our best life, take care of ourselves, love ourselves, or we can stay in certain positions that we may have been in or are in right now. But yes, ma'am.
Exactly, sis. And that that just shows you how merciful our God is. He gives us choice. Like, we have a choice to live the life we really want to live. Like, if something isn't working out, he gives you a mind to make a decision to choose. So take that opportunity and make the decision to change your paradigm by changing your mindset, and start healing your mental and spiritual by learning how to maintain a balanced life. Everything is balanced. Everything. That gets me to our next topic, talking about the physical body and the healing for the physical body. We had to maintain a balance, even with the physical body. So, like, if there is something off, let's say that, from what I've learned, is that you shouldn't drink. Everyone shouldn't drink a gallon of water.
Yes.
You should drink according to your body weight, because the amount of water that you need is only specific to your body from what it needs. It needs a balance. You cannot over drink water. You cannot overdo anything or underdo anything. You have to maintain a balance so it can be in harmony. And that brought me back to what I just explained about the limbic system and the cerebrum system in the brain. So yeah, everything just needs a balance. So now I want to just talk about the physical body again, and the most important aspect of healing in the physical body. For me, what I believe is the most important is when does the true healing take place in one's body. And I don't think a lot of us know that our body needs rest in order to properly heal. We are always on a go as women, especially us women. We have to get up in the morning, have to get our children ready, have to get ourselves ready. Then we have to come home, cook, clean, change diapers. Oh gosh, it's so
Mm-hmm.
hectic. It's exhausting. And
It's
within that time frame that you're doing all that, it's like, you really don't have no time to rest. And that is the only time your body can have its time to itself to fix any issues that you may have in the body.
mm-hmm.
So when we think of rest, we think of sleep and how important it is for your body to maintain a good sleeping regimen. So um, sleeping, getting your rest is very important when it comes to healing the physical body. When you're
Mm-hmm.
resting, your body is able to heal on its own. Our body is already made to heal by itself. Honestly, like God has already equipped our body to heal on its own. It's all about what we are doing to aid in the healing. Are we eating the right foods? Are we getting the right rest? Are we listening to good things? Maintaining a positive mindset. What are we doing to aid in our healing and aid to our vitality so we can live a long life? So I got this from a brother of mine, Brother Shine. He said that um, you want to wake up in a state of heaven. Like, who doesn't want to have a good night's rest and wake up feeling energized and amazing and just feeling good? Like, that's how you know that, wow, my body's doing its job. I feel rested. I feel good. I feel amazing. So, in order for us to do that, we have to prepare our environment for sleep. You know, take some time out to plan your day ahead before you go to bed. You know, um, some people, they use aromatherapy. It's something about smelling certain what is it called? Essential oils. I'm sorry. Certain Smelling certain essential oils in the air. It does something to the brain system and allows you to have a better night's rest. Turn off all the lights, get rid of the electronics. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, we've been so bombarded with this 5G is just everywhere. Like, give your body a break from that. You deserve it. So don't feel bad, moms, if you have so much going on and you feel overwhelmed and you need to take a break. There's nothing wrong with taking a break. And I think I had to tell myself that too when I first had my son. And I just didn't like taking naps. But I was breastfeeding and he just wasn't going to sleep at night. So I'm just like, well, I guess I don't have any other choice but to try to get some rest while he's taking a nap throughout the day. And that actually helped me in my healing journey. Um, After having my son, I had a temporary thyroid issue and I needed a lot of rest. I was very stressed out and had a lot of anxiety through the pregnancy. So that was kind of like the best time for me to actually be able to rest. And when I started listening to myself and started listening to my body and allow myself to get the time it needs to rest, to sleep, I seen so much of a difference. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to just elaborate on the physical body and the importance of healing the physical body through rest.
I think that's a very strong subject. We need to talk about, and I don't even know if I'm the most qualified to talk about this because I myself do not get enough rest. And I can say that for a fact. Even last night, I was just so exhausted.
Yes.
I was just falling asleep everywhere. I was trying to finish some work and I just kept falling asleep. And I was like, okay, I just need to go get in the bed now.
Yes.
I need to stop doing what I'm doing. But rest is essential. Like you said, when we sleep, that gives our body time to heal us to heal itself. And we need to heal. We need to
Definitely.
have a recovery time from all of the things we've seen, all the movement we did, and everything from the day before and the days before. But I also have noticed there is a direct correlation between mental, spiritual, physical, obviously, because it's all right here. But our spiritual things can negatively affect our bodies. Like, for example, how I mentioned the stress earlier.
Yes.
That affects your body. And then in turn, you may have been eating too much or not eating enough. And then your body has a physical condition because of your overeating or undereating that you now have to heal from, which is why balance is extremely important. And in the Nation of Islam, when it comes to eating, I recommend getting the book How to Eat to Live by the
Yes.
Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But we are told to eat one meal a day, and that's once every 24 hours, between the hours of 4 to 6, because that is the best time for us to eat. And when you do eat one meal a day, it's a nice balance of food, because I'm sure you know that when you eat food, you get tired, right?
Yes.
And so you don't want to eat the food all day long, because then you'll be tired all day long. And I've experienced that myself. And so there's just so much healing that we have to do to our physical bodies, whether or not we know it or not. Like you said, we have to pay attention to our bodies, and because our bodies respond to us. If, say, I'm lactose intolerant, which I'm not, but I drink some milk, my body's not going to respond positively to that.
Exactly.
So you have to take note of how certain things affect your bodies. If you have a peanut allergy, if you eat a peanut and then your throat starts to swell up, you have to take note of that so you don't continue to eat peanuts and your throat swells up, because that wouldn't be good. So take note of everything. Like I myself, I've been taking note of how extremely tired I am. And our physical bodies can get burned out. So we have to make sure that we don't burn ourselves out, which I have done before. But we just have to pay attention to ourselves and take note of ourselves and try our best to treat our bodies the way we would treat someone else. Because I learned for myself, I may not do something for myself that I would do for someone else.
Exactly.
Like, and now that you have a baby, I'm sure you understand. You want to make sure your baby has the best of everything.
Yes. Yes.
Make sure he gets his sleep, but we don't do the same for ourselves.
Exactly.
So we have to love ourselves the way that we would love someone else, the way that we want to be loved. We got to do that for ourselves, because if we don't, nobody else is going to do it for us.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. It's funny. It's funny you said that, because I actually, I'm like, I don't know where I got that from, but I was going to say the same thing. Like, once we start really like loving ourselves and taking care of ourselves and becoming consciously woke and being aware, like, I swear to you guys, not like 2021 for me was kind of like my healing year. And within that time, I found out so much about myself. And I was like, who needs a doctor? Who needs anybody? I know me so well. I don't need nobody, you know? So like I done got to this point of my life where it's like, even like you mentioned about about foods, like your body knows. And that's how powerful and strong our bodies is, because our bodies already know what we need and what we don't need when something's off, when something is wrong. Like sometimes, if you have a headache, you don't have to rush to take a medicine just because you have a headache. You may be dehydrated. You may be thinking something wrong. It may be something, it may be in your environment. And what I learned is that before I rush to jump to solve the problem, I sit with myself to think, what am I thinking about, for one? Have I eaten anything? Have I drunk enough water? Am I stressed out? And within me going down a list of things that may be wrong with me, then I start tackling the ones that I know that's probably affecting it, and then I try to fix it myself. Like I breastfeed, so I can get dehydrated easily. So I try to add Celtic salt to my water to keep me hydrated. People think that you can just drink water to stay hydrated, and that's not the case. You have to add some type of sodium as well to maintain hydration. So I try to add Celtic salt to my water, and when I said I felt so much better, I'm like, wow, all I needed was some water with a little salt
Yeah.
in it. It
Water.
was great. So yes, sister, it's just amazing if we just start listening to ourselves as women. Like we are the second self of God. Like did y'all hear what I just said? We are the second self of God. Like
Yes, we
the
are.
powerful. So
Mm.
like they say listen to a woman's instinct and they gut. They will never steer you wrong because we know things. We kind of psychic in a way. But yeah, that's it with that. But I wanted to I want us to get to our last topic before we end is self-love through chastity. I think this is really important.
I do too.
So Sister Nyah, I think I'm gonna let you go with this one because you be hitting the nail on the coffin with this one.
Well, there's so much to say. I don't know if I could say it all right now,
It's
but
fine.
yeah. So in the Nation of Islam, we're taught that if you don't know yourself, you can't love yourself, because the minister said, with self-knowledge comes self-determination and self-respect. And he also said what I stated earlier, where there's no discipline, there's no love. And we have to make sure that we discipline ourselves in every single aspect of our lives, including sexual desires, resisting sexual desires. Um, it's so much.
Yes.
I'll just say a little bit, and then you say something, and then I'll
Yeah,
be
I
able
will. Yeah,
to
that's fine.
there.
We gonna keep it short but very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Short and simple and informational.
Yes. So chastity, for those who don't know, is abstaining from sexual intercourse outside of marriage. Is that correct? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
In
Mm-hmm.
marriage. Yeah, outside of marriage. So no premarital sex, basically. And by doing this, it's protecting us from so many different things. That it could be an STD, yes, but it protects your emotions, and it
Mm-hmm.
protects your love for yourself, because through different things that we do, I'm not even talking about sexually at the moment. There are different things that we've done that we had a feeling, I probably shouldn't be doing this anyways, but I'm gonna do it. Like, why not? And then we end up feeling very guilty, and it eats at us, and it eats at our consciousness. And I was having a conversation with a friend recently, and she was telling me something about what she has done, and it was just eating at her consciousness, and it brings you down so low mentally and spiritually, and you don't necessarily look at yourself the same. It's like, why would I do that? Why did I do this to myself?
Yes.
And then being with a man, if you give yourself to a man and then you guys don't end up together, that's really painful, because not only did you give him your time, your love, your energy, but you've given him the most sacred thing that you have, your most valuable possession, which is your body. That's what God gave you coming into this world. He gave you your body. And so to avoid this kind of pain, because it can take years to heal from that, to avoid
Mm-hmm.
that, we strive not to have sex before marriage. I can't say we don't, because I cannot speak for everybody, but we strive, which means that we try to not have sex before marriage. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan tweeted in 2012, he said, every time you engage in intimacy without responsibility, without commitment, it lowers your self-respect and your self-worth. Because, as you were saying, we are the second self of God. We are so valuable in the eyesight of God. And when we just give ourselves away to anybody and everybody, somebody who may not be worthy of us. Minister Farrakhan said, he's got to be worthy of you or he's not worth having you. When you give
Yes.
yourself away to somebody who's not worthy of you, that does lower your self-respect, because as women, we have high standards and we should have high standards, you know? But we can't bring our standards down for somebody. If he doesn't fit, he doesn't fit. And so, yeah, we really can damage ourselves emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and even physically. And it takes a long time to recover. But our bodies are temples. Our bodies are the temple of God. And so, yeah. And if we haven't been chaste before, it's never too late to become chaste. And just strive to forgive yourself so that you can heal, apply to your life, and move on. But yeah, I'll let you add on.
Well, thank you, Nyah, for like elaborating on that. That was so beautiful. Now you saying that the woman, like our body, like we are literally, like I said, like the we are the factory of creation. You know, we are the civilization. We create civilization, you know, through our womb. You know, so when we give ourselves to men that are unworthy, honestly, as a woman, that it's not a good feeling. It doesn't make you feel good, you know, because what I've noticed is that, and you know, I'm not here to judge at all. But what I notice is that, you know, there's a lot of single moms, and me being a single mom, we shouldn't be doing this on our own, you know. So that takes me back to saving myself for that right person, you know, in order for me to build a strong foundation with my family and be able to teach my son the proper way of being a family, and also just, you know, how to treat a woman, you know, seeing the right way that a woman should be treated and the right way that a man should treat a woman if he's able to be in a two-parent home, you know. So it just takes us back to, as women, because sex is powerful. They say it's a natural, it's a natural hunger in the male and the female, and what else, even as the desire for food and water. Like that's how powerful sex is. Like
Nature.
we have these natural hungers inside of us. So you know, it's hard, but I think it's worth it, because sex can cloud one's judgment. You know, it clouds the mind of a person, because you can never really determine if this person will be the one that you will yourself to for the rest of your life. You know, so we want to start knowing that we deserve more than what we're getting. And if he does not meet that standard, he is not worth it. If he cannot wait, if he cannot give you or show himself to you and prove himself to you as a man of God, he is not worthy. He is not worthy. And that's where it comes back to loving yourself. Once you learn to love yourself, once you learn to take care of yourself, when you know yourself, you wouldn't dare give yourself away just to anybody. You on guard. And just like you said earlier, love yourself just the way like you love anyone else. Like you love your son or you love your mom. Like treat yourself the same way as if you treated the way you treat your mom, because you love her so much.
Right.
You know, we have to get that love back to ourselves. And the first way as women And that's the reason why I brought up this topic is with chastity is so important, because we are, when we keep giving ourselves away, we are continuously creating a generation of of failed children that aren't in a stable home, that aren't getting the love that they deserve. And we continue to cycle and cycle, just not saving ourselves and producing all these children and not getting the help that we need, and it keeps going and going and going.
Right.
There's no unity. There's no unity, you know. So what was said earlier to me, your tribe is your vibe. We all need a tribe. We all need a tribe, you know. So ladies, it's time to look into yourself, and it's time to say to yourself, am I worthy? And you are worthy. But is he worthy of your time? Is he worthy of your body? You know?
Right.
Because our body, our it's like we can talk all day, sis, about that.
No, we can.
I know we can talk all
We
day about
definitely
that, but but man, it's just really important, because like I said, like, the value of a virtuous woman is more than the value of wealth on the earth. It's extremely valuable. So that's why you see now in the media how much they are trying to tear down our Black women, allowing them to dress a certain way, do certain
Right.
things. We're just there. It's outrageous. It's crazy. So we are devaluing ourselves,
Mm.
and it doesn't allow that righteous man, because there is righteous men out here, that God man, that God-fearing man, to come to you and give you what you want, because you're not giving it to yourself, sis. Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Lord Jesus. I'm sorry. You're not giving it to yourself. So love yourself, and man, just it's time. It's time to save yourself and love yourself. So I am
Yeah.
so glad that we were able to connect together, Sister Nyah. Thank you so much for being here and being a part of my podcast today. I would also like to thank my amazing audience for joining us today for the Woman's Healing Circle, episode 6. I pray that today's message helped aid you in your healing journey. And if the information we provided to you was valuable, please be sure to give us a rating, share, and subscribe on any of your favorite podcast station and or my YouTube channel, Supremely, Divine. Also, check out my ebooks and merchandise that will be in the description in the show notes today. Sister Nyah, do you have any closing remarks for today's audience?
Yes, actually, I do. I just pulled up a quote from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He shared this during an MGT class in 1997. He said, "Sisters, your refuge must be in Allah. You must not take these words lightly. You are the beloved of God. You are the woman of God. Then seek refuge in Him, and He will suffice you in all your needs. You don't need a man, you need Allah. And the more you have of Allah, the less need you have of the man. Therefore, you can deal with whatever comes up in your life." So, yes, it all ties back into self-love. And we can't love ourselves if we don't know ourselves, because to love yourself, you have to know that you're valuable. That'll make you love yourself. So thank you so very much for having me on today. I enjoyed this thoroughly. This was a blast, and it's beautiful to have conversations and discussions like this, because it's so important that we know that we're valuable as women. We are valuable, and that we know the value in keeping chase. So thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for being here again, Nyah. And thank you for that beautiful last closing remark. That was just amazing. Thank you for hitting us with that one. That was great.
You too a lot.
So yeah, so again, thank you audience for joining us. And I would like to end this show off to say Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings.
Assalamu alaikum.